Hi, my name is Riley Woodring, and I'll be talking about the Social Security Administration and how it develops our social insurance. So first, I will touch on what social insurance is and how it affects us. Social insurance is something we Americans take for granted. It is a concept where the government intervenes in the financial market to ensure that a group of individuals are protected against the risk of any emergencies that lead to financial problems. The amount of work done in a lifetime contributes to the amount of insurance available. Examples of some social programs that promote social insurance today are Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and unemployment insurance. Social Security is by far one of the most important social insurances we have. The organization that controls Social Security is called the Social Security Administration. The Social Security Administration is an independent agency of the U.S. federal government. The administration was signed into law by President Roosevelt on August 14, 1935. It was installed as part of the New Deal, which was a series of programs to combat the economic depression in the 1930s. As shown in the cartoon in the bottom right, the New Deal, along with the Social Security Act, was put into question by Congress. But, as the cartoon also shows, is how Roosevelt felt that changes need to be made for any change to happen in our economy. Social Security specifically was installed to insure people's money. One of the main ways it did this was by making sure retired workers aged 65 and older received a continued income after retirement. This sought to address the long-range issue of economic security for the aged by providing a system in which workers contribute to their future retirement. The quote I found by President Roosevelt upon signing the Social Security Act stated, "We can never insure 100% of the population against 100% of the hazards and vicissitudes of life. But we have tried to frame a law which will give some measure of protection to the average citizen and to his family against the loss of a job and against poverty-ridden old age." What Roosevelt is saying here is that government can't protect everyone against all unforeseen problems, but they can give some sort of protection against a few problems to everybody. The best system the government found was to install a payroll tax. A payroll tax is a 6.2 tax on employees and a 6.2 tax on employers, which makes for a total of 12.4% tax. How it works is that 12.4 tax, which is taken off of every paycheck, is stored in a trust fund. When a person reaches an age between 62 and 70, they can start their retirement benefits and begin drawing out of this trust fund. Benefits will be higher the longer a person delays starting it. Until the system came along, the elderly and disabled had few methods of supporting themselves. These methods include wealthy families, private charities, friends, and family members. All of these resources were never sure things, though, and were never consistent. Along with the resources listed in the last slide, states also tried to deal with the problem of economic security. The main method they used was various old age pensions. These were welfare programs, eligibility for which was based on proof of financial need. However, these plans were inadequate. Restricted eligibility criteria resulted in many elderly unable to qualify. The best plan only paid a maximum of $1 per day, which did not provide for much. So even if they got the program, it would not have counted for much. Today, the elderly and disabled do not have to put faith in an unreliable system. Our Social Security today provides things like survivor security, where benefits are paid to widows, widowers, and dependents. This one is especially important for young families with children. Another thing it provides is disability, which gives money to people because of an unexpected illness or accident. It also includes Medicare, which is our country's health insurance program for people 65 or older. Lastly, it provides retirement, which is a replacement income for those that qualify. Social Security survivors' benefits are paid to widows, widowers, and dependents of eligible workers. One benefit is if you yourself die and you were working and paying into Social Security, some of those taxes you pay are for survivors' benefits. Your spouse, children, and parents could be eligible for benefits based on your earnings. Another benefit is if a family member dies, you or your family could be eligible for benefits based on the earnings of a worker who died. The deceased person must have worked long enough to qualify for benefits. The disability Social Security has two qualifications. To qualify for disability, the first thing someone must have is a job in which covers that Social Security. The second thing a person must have is a medical condition. This medical condition has to some way impair someone's working ability. If both of these things are met, the government pays monthly benefits to people unable to work for a year because of this disability. To qualify for the medical care Social Security, one must either be 65 or older, have a disability, or have permanent kidney failure. If someone has one of these three things, Social Security will cover part of the health care cost, but it will not cover all medical expenses. Getting onto Medicare, Social Security enrolls you in Original Medicare, which has two parts, Part A and Part B. Medicare Part A, hospital insurance, helps pay for inpatient care in a hospital or limit time at a skilled nursing facility following a hospital stay. Part A also pays for some home health care and hospice care. Medicare Part B, medical insurance, helps pay for services from doctors and other healthcare providers, outpatient care, home health care, durable medical equipment, and some preventive services. With an online application, you can sign up for Medicare Part A, hospital insurance, and Part B, medical insurance. Because you must pay a premium for Part B coverage, you do have the option to turn it down. If you choose not to enroll in Medicare Part B and then decide to later, your coverage could be delayed and you may have to pay a higher monthly premium for as long as you have Part B. There are a few requirements for retirement Social Security. One requirement is age, and when you were born can also be a factor. For example, someone can get their full retirement at age 66 if they are born from 1943 to 1954. Or if someone was born from 1955 to 1966, they get their full retirement at age 67. A better depiction of this is found on the graph to the right. Another factor is the amount of years worked. Like I illustrated in previous slides, the longer someone works, the more benefits they get because they're paid more on their payroll tax. But let's say someone didn't work for that long during their life. Well, they will not be able to claim any retirement until they gain 40 credits, which is usually 10 years of work. Yet, despite helping so many people, Social Security still has a few flaws. One flaw is our aging population. Our aging population affects Social Security because it has so many people drawing out their retirement at the same time. While the less populated younger generation, as seen on this graph, is not able to funnel in as much money to support those people. This graph on the bottom also shows it, seeing how our population keeps growing older as time goes on. Despite this financial problem, the good the Social Security Act does by far outweigh the bad. It still provides support for the elderly, the disabled, and the survivors. But it should still be addressed, and it is. Every 4 years, a quadrennial advisory council is appointed to review the forecasts and discuss policy issues. So, steps are being made to fix this flaw. Here are the sources I used. Most of the information on my slides were obtained on the Social Security website. I also got information from Khan Academy. Some of my more in-depth information about Social Security I found on a JSTOR journal, which is the last source listed. Thank you for listening, and I hope the information in my video was something you found interesting.